Hey now, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I just got done watching Gotham: Rise of the Villains. This is Season 2, Episode 5, entitled Scarification. Now, I wasn't here to review the episode last week, but a whole lot has gone on and changed since last week. I very much enjoyed that episode. You see this episode begin with Penguin begging Theo Gallivan for his mom. Theo Gallivan revealed last week that he has Penguin's mom kidnapped, and this is how he has leverage over the Penguin to do his bidding, his dirty work, to do things for him, to help advance his campaign to become mayor. Which is funny because obviously Theo Gallivan is a better candidate for mayor than Penguin from Batman Returns was. But seeing Penguin this desperate, this vulnerable, is kind of upsetting in a way where you start to feel bad for the Penguin. You start to, really feel bad for him. He's not so much the villain these last couple episodes. You understand his anger, his frustration, his paranoia. In fact, when one of his henchmen in the next scene tells him about one of his places being raided by the cops, he's so angry, more so angry about his mom, that he just goes crazy on this guy, attacks him with a tire iron, damn near beats him to death. And then you were wondering, or at least I was wondering, if he really did have paranoia for Butch, if he thought Butch was the one that was conspiring against him. But I guess ultimately he doesn't feel that way. He was playing that up for Tabitha. But even still, what he does to Butch by the end of it, where he has this whole plan where Butch is going to go to Theo and try to infiltrate his group to find his mom. But to really sell it, Penguin cuts Butch's fingers off to show that Penguin really doesn't trust him, which, I guess he really does because of whatever Zaz did to him to make him have to follow Penguin's orders. Very weird situation because you can't really tell what Butch really feels about the Penguin, if he really does like him, if he's loyal to him, or if he cares at all about Fish Mooney. That brings me to Selena Kyle, who you see her, I knew she was homeless. I knew that. But you almost forget how bad it is until when you see her in some abandoned house and she's living on that shitty mattress. I'm like, fuck. She turned down living in Bruce's mansion. I know she has pride. I know she wants to be independent, but fuck, really? Okay. And you see her interacting with this girl, Bridget, that she used to know. And Bridget is living in this house with these guys, and I guess she's family, but not really. Her mom died, and so she's almost like their servant in a lot of ways. And when they lose a man in their operation, Bridget ends up being one of their new crew. And she's infiltrating these buildings and blowing them all up. It wasn't until one of these places where her leg caught fire that I stopped and said, holy shit, is she supposed to be Firefly? I remember seeing an article that Gotham's going to bring in Firefly. She was going to be a female, but I didn't know which episode or who the actress was that was going to be it. So watching this episode play out, and when I realized that's who she was, I was like, oh, okay. Now, I could go on a rant right now that they're changing Firefly and making him a female, or they're changing the backstory. But I'm not going to be mad, because ultimately I really don't care. Honestly, Firefly was a villain that I always found to be interesting, but he's not in my top 10, or even probably top 15. He's okay. But them changing him this much, whatever. Gotham's made far more changes of things that pissed me off more, and they've made other changes to where I was like, okay, I'll go with this. And this is one of those things where I'm willing to go with it. Why the fuck not? Honestly, this version of Firefly isn't that much worse than when Arrow used Firefly in Season 1. Because I didn't really care for that version much at all. And she's a tragic character, obviously, the way she's abused and everything. And she didn't get caught by the end of the episode. In fact, she even killed one of the new strike force members of GCPD. So she's most wanted. And Selena Kyle is helping her out at the moment, which is a little bit of a surprise. So we'll see what happens with that. Theo Gallivan asked Gordon for an endorsement. And I'm not surprised that Gordon turned him down. But also, it was at this point where you almost start to wonder, what exactly is Theo Gallivan's plan? What is he up to? What is his motives? What's his end game? His goal? And then you see that after the cop gets killed, Gordon immediately is willing to give him his endorsement as for maybe the city's resources or help when Gallivan might become the mayor. So he's pulling the strings, he's placing all of the pieces in the right spot, and he's definitely getting where he wants. And then by the end of it, Penguin even finds out about his secret family's past, backstory, on how the Waynes' ancestors casted them out of the city, almost erased their name from history, forced them to change their name, and this whole craziness. So this is why he's luring his way into Bruce Wayne's life, trying to gain his trust, because he wants to eventually kill him. It all makes sense, and I'm finding his character more and more interesting as I'm finding more and more about him. I want to talk now about the Strike Force team and Michael Chiklis, who has come onto the show since last week as the captain of GCPD. I love Michael Chiklis. I haven't even watched the show that he's probably most known for, The Shield. I haven't even watched that, but I've heard great things about it. I still like him as an actor. The presence he has when he came in, especially last week, and he just chewed out the whole precinct and fired all those crooked cops, came in, took names, and said, this is how we're running this place now. We're coming in, we're changing things around here. This city and this police department won't be run like this anymore. You wanted to stand up and cheer. It was a moment. It was one of the best moments on Gotham, just him coming in. Obviously, Gordon's behind him. Gordon's his number one guy. And I love that he came in and brought in some new recruits for a Strike Force team. It all makes sense, and I'm very interested to see where his character goes from here. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about Edward Nygma, who is now dating Mrs. Kringle. And after last week, that initial date that they have, I don't know how he was able to keep her around after he let that slip out that he was glad her ex-boyfriend is dead. Oops! Because he was supposed to just have moved or left town. But he was able to win her back over, and when you see them having a fondue with Leslie Tompkins and Gordon at their house, they're quite cute together. They make sense as a couple. Clearly, I very much enjoyed this week's episode of Gotham. This season, again, has not had a bad episode in the first 5. So, yes, good job, Gotham. Good job. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of episode 5 in the season so far of Gotham. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!